Monstrous xenomorphs stalk through the ruins of the primary manufactorum plant in Hive Beta. These massive behemoths have smashed their way easily through the outer defences and now were set to assault the last blockade before reaching the civilian bunkers. Lord Azrael of the Dark Angels stood alongside Interrogator Champion Asmodeus and the venerable ancient dreadnought Dramion. Together with squads from a detachment of 4th Company, they would hold the line, allowing the civilians to evacuate through the underground tunnels to awaiting transportation off-world, their valuable knowledge of forge workings deemed valuable enough to save. As roars could be heard off in the distance of the city, battle was joined in the grim dark universe of Warhammer 40,000. In today's scenario, we're going to be playing a White Dwarf bunker mission from the September 2023 issue. This is called Amidst the Maelstrom and has a couple of special rules. Beset by horror means each time a unit takes a leadership or battleshock test, if that unit is a character unit, you add one to the result, and if they're not a character unit, they subtract one from the result instead. Adrift and Leaderless is the other special rule for this mission, and when a player's warlord is destroyed, each unit in their army must take a battle shock test. We have 2 mission objectives in this scenario. The first of these is anchored in reality. From the second battle round onwards, at the end of each player's command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each of the following conditions they satisfy: that they control 1 or more objective markers, that they control 2 or more objectives, or that they control 3 or more objective markers, for a maximum of 15 points. Champion's Bane is an end game objective, and at the end of the battle each player scores 5 VP for each enemy character unit that is destroyed to a maximum of 15 VP, and if there is no enemy character units on the battlefield at the end of the battle, they score an additional 15 battle points. For killing 3 characters and having no characters alive at the end of the battle, you could score a maximum of 30 victory points. In today's game, I'm going to be playing with the Dark Angels, and I'm going to be using the Unforgiven Task Force Detachment. My warlord for today's game is going to be Azrael, Supreme Grandmaster of the Dark Angels Space Marine Chapter, and he is joined by another character, Chaplain. We then, as battle line units, have a single squad of Intercessors. This has 5 models in the unit, and we have an Astartes grenade launcher equipped to one of our bolt rifles, along with a Sergeant being equipped with Plasma Pistol and Power Sword. We then have a unit of 5 Deathwing Knights. 4 of these are carrying the Maces of Absolution, while the Knight Master is equipped with a Flail of the Unforgiven. They're joined by 10 Hellblasters in a squad, and then lastly a Redemptor Dreadnought, which is going to be equipped with a Macroplasma Incinerator, Onslaught Gatling Cannon underslung under its combat arm, and an Icarus Rocket Pod mounted atop its shoulders as well. Stephen will be playing with the Tyranids in today's game, and he's going to be using the Crusher Stampede detachment. For his warlord, he has a winged Hive Tyrant that has the Ominous Presence enhancement. This gives it some extra objective control, and then it is equipped with Tyrant Talons and a heavy Venom Cannon. For the rest of his unit, we have more big monsters, starting with an Exocrine. We then have a Psychophage, joined by a Screamer Killer, a Trigon, and lastly a Tyrannofex with Acid Spray. Alright, so we are all deployed for the Dark Angels. I've got my Redemptor Dreadnought along with some Intercessors joined by the Chaplain behind the Manufactorum here. And then we have the unit of 10 Hellblasters and Azrael walking up the other flank. Meanwhile, for the Tyranids, we have the Psychophage joined by the Tyrannofex and Screamer Killer in the center. And you've got your Exocrine off to the flank. Now, in Deep Strike for this game, I've got my Deathwing Knights up in Deep Strike. Meanwhile, Stephen has both the Trigon and Flyrant in Deep Strike. And so, first turn roller for the Dark Angels. We got a 6. What do the Nids get? They got a 6, so it is a reroll. A 6 again. I like this dice. Your 5 Dark Angels will have the first turn. Right, so turn 1. Start of the Dark Angels turn 1. Azrael will give me an extra command point, taking me to 2. Meanwhile, Stephen and the Tyranids will go to 1 command point. So with that said, nothing else to do. We'll go straight into movement. Alright, so movement is all done. We did advance with both our marine units advancing onto the 2 objectives in my half of the table. The Dreadnought advanced along with them as well, though didn't actually do an advance, so it still can shoot all its weapons. These 2 will only be able to fire any assault weapons though, due to actually rolling advance rolls. So Dreadnought, I am 25 inches away from your Tyranids, which means most of my guns are out of range. However, the Macro Plasma Incinerator is not. So it is D6 plus 1 shots for 6 all up. And so these will hit on 3s into your Tyranids. That is just 3 hits, unfortunately. So strength 9 with the Macroplasma Incinerator, T12, so I do need 5s to wound you. Of which I do none. And now I need to roll a hazardous test. And I am fine with the roll of a 5. So Hellblaster Squad, 5 of them can see your Screamer Killer here along with Azrael. So we're going to overcharge them, so this means we are hitting on 3s. And you are Oath of Moment target, so we do get rerolls. So Screamer Killer is T9, so 5s to wound. That'll be 4 wounds. And so you're on a 4-up save here, thanks to cover with your Screamer Killer. Pass 1, fail 3. So I think that is going to be a total of 6 damage to him. However, thanks to your Psychophage there, you will have a 6-up Feel No Pain. So what can we make? Pass 1, take 5 instead of 6. I then have 5 hazardous tests to make with my Hellblasters. They are all fine. So totally forgot that I had sustained hits from Azrael, so I did get 3 extra hits there, so these will wound on 5s. I got 1 more wound through, so 1 more 4+ armor save. And 2 6-up Feel No Pains from that. So just 1 more wound. So Azrael will then shoot with the Lion's Wrath, so hits on 2s. That'll be an extra shot, so actually get 3 because sustained on 6s. Strength 8 versus T9 will be 5s, and he wounds none. And so with that, that is all the shooting for the Dark Angels for the turn. Did some damage to the Screamer Killer, that is it. So it's going to be over to Tyranids turn 1. And so for the Tyranids, they gain a command point, a Dark Angels gain a command point as well, but nothing else besides that to do in the command phase, so it'll be straight into movement. Righty, so movement-wise, we've just had all the big bugs in the centre move up, Screamer Killer, Tyranids, and Psychophage. The Exocrine has stayed in the backfield. This will allow it to get its heavy weapon bonus for the turn, giving it 2+ to hit in the next shooting phase. Alright, so to start with, the Tyranids will be shooting into the Intercessors. It has D6 plus 6 shots with the Torrent special rule. Alright, see how many shots we're going to get. That's going to be a whopping 12 shots. So auto hitting, because it's torrent, that means you need 3s to wound, strength 6. So I'm going to have a 4-up save after your AP is included in that on the Intercessors. I have to take these 5 at a time because there's a chance you could wipe the unit as your damage too. So 4-ups, I pass 2, 3 go down. I'm then going to make 2. They're all dead, so this one will now be going on the Chaplain. There's a 4-up invuln. And passes it. Alright, so the Screamer Killer is going to go next and going to shoot its Acidic Blast Bioplasmic Scream into the Hellblasters there. I'm going to use Armor of Contempt for a stratagem. You are a blast weapon, so you're going to get +2 because I've got 11 models in my unit. So it's D6 plus 5 shots for 7. So Stephen actually is going to spend a CP on the 2 and try and re-roll it. 3. So you're going to get 8 shots instead this time. 4s to hit. Just the 3 hits. And so, due to in-range Behemoth, actually you hit on 3, so that puts quite a few more hits in there. 2s to wounds. So you get 5 through. So I'm on 3 for a cover. 3+ saves thanks to cover. And pass them all. Alright, so the Exocrine is then going to shoot into the Hellblasters. Now, blast weapon again, so it'll be +2 shots because I've got 11 models. So it's D6 plus 5 in total for your shots. Is You've also elected to use Untrammeled Ferocity for your last command point on the Execrete. This means you're going to get Ignores cover on the unit as well. So you've got 9 shots in total coming out of him. He'll be hitting on 2s thanks to his heavy profile, so only the 1s will miss. Strength 8 means you'll be wounding on 2s as well. That's another 1, so there'll be 6 in total for my Marines. And so 6 5-up saves on my Marines. I passed 2. So I've got 4 to save. Alright, so Azrael's in the unit. He gives Feel No Pain 4+ to my unit. So the first one, we're going to see what we do. We save 2. So that means there's a Marine left on 1 wound, and that's 1 of the shots done. Second one, Feel No Pain 4+. Takes another wound. That will kill 1 Marine. We go for the third one. We'll save 1, put a Marine on 1. And we will fail 2, but that'll do the last win on 2, so 2 Marines will go down. So 2 Hellblasters died. Now their final salvo on 3s. No, neither of them will get it. Dang. So Soul Face, you have 1 to declare, and that is your Screamer Killer. He needs boxcars to get in. Can you get it? No, nowhere near. So that'll be the end of the Tyranids turn 1. Killed a couple of intercessors, killed a couple of Hellblasters and wiped out my intercessors. So we're going to go into Dark Angels turn 2. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. Alrighty, so command phase, I just gained 2 CP thanks to still having Azrael. Stephen will gain another. This will take you back up to a CP.
Yep.
And I will tick up to 4 CP. So we are going to go with end of the command phase. I'll score victory points. Control 1 for 5 and control 2 or more for another 5. Give me 10 victory points for the turn. Right, so started moving up my Dreadnought and my Hellblasters. However, the Tyranids can now see those Hellblasters, and it is going to declare an Overwatch. So it's got D6 plus 6 shots for 2. So strength 6 from this, you will need 3s to wound. And that'll be all 8 of them. So 4 up save thanks to cover. I fail 5, ouch. 3. So now I've got 4 up, Feel No Pains to pass. So first one, 4 ups, pass 1, that leaves 1 on a wound. Second one, passes both, so he's still left on a wound. That's 2 done. Third one, passes both, he's still left on a wound. This dude is an absolute tank. He finally dies on the 4th one, so it's 1 dead. And then the last one, another 1 dies. So 2 dead Hellblasters, we get 2 dice on 3 ups. We can shoot before we die. One of them, and he will just overcharge his gun into that Screamer Killer in front of him. Hitting on 3s, we've sustained, so 3 shots now. And wounding on 5s, nothing unfortunately. Alrighty, end of movement. So after that, and after a couple of Hellblasters dying from an Overwatch, my Deathling Knights also came down, ready to try and take out that Execrete. So we're going to go into some shooting next for the Marines. One last thing actually, I did move my Chaplain. He is actually going to hide from the Tyranids that's there. So we'll start with the Redemptor Dreadnought next. Alright, so the Redemptor's going to go, he's going to put all his shots into the Tyranids. I have D6 plus 3 shots with my Macroplasmic Incinerator, which I will be supercharging for 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, it's D6 plus 1, so that'll be 6 shots in total. So we are hitting on 3s. So 3s, just 3 hits. And wounding on 5s. No wounds with the Macroplasmic Incinerator. So we have 8 shots from our Onslaught Gatling Cannon. So 3s to hit with this. 5 hits. And these will be 6s to wound, but devastating, so 1 wound that you can't save. And then I have D3 shots with the missile launcher on top for 3. So we'll hit on 3s for 2 hits. And we'll wound on 5s for 2 wounds. 2 3-up saves on the Tyranids then. Fails 1, and then 2 6-up field no pains. Damage 2. Passes 1, fails 1. Now we're going to roll for hazardous for the Dreadnought, and he's fine. And so Hellblasters will be going into the Exocrine at the back there. Or do they want to? Yeah. No, you know what? We are going to go into the Screamer Killer. We're going to put our shots into the Screamer Killer. So 3s to hit. We've sustained, give me extra shots. That is 3 more shots going in. To actually get 1 more than what I started with. And 5s to wound now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into your Screamer Killer, who has no cover there at all. So he's going to be a 2 at -3, 4, 5. So 5-up saves. I mean, he passes 3. That's still 4 damage though. So field of pain 6+ from the Psychophage.
Nothing.
None of them. He will take 4. So that will take the Screamer Killer down. 1 monster down. A bunch more to go. We are going to go on to charges next. After I do some hazardous tests for the 6 dudes that did shoot though. And so hazardous tests on 6 of them. 1 is failed. You know what? I've got so many CP. I'm going to spend 1 on that to save it. Alright, charges. We're going to start with the Deathwing Knights into the Exocrine. I need a 9. 6, 7, 8. Not quite enough. I'm going to spend a CP to re-roll that. 5. They fail their charge. And I need another 9-inch charge here into the Tyranids. So I'll get that one though. So after the Dreadnought charges, I'm going to do Tank Shot for a CP. So we get 5s. We'll do mortal wounds on these. So 12. Let's cock that one. And that's cocked as well. So it'll be 2 mortal wounds on the Tyranids. Feel no pains on 6s. Nope, take 2. Alright, so at the start of the fight phase, I am going to spend a CP on the Dreadnought. I'm going to go Unforgiven Fury. This gives me lethal hits, so he has 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. Well, those 2 auto wounds. 1 other hits, and I will need a 4 to wound here. Nope, so the 2 lethal hits definitely pay dividends. 2 at -2, so 2 4-up saves. And what you're going to need. Fail 1, and that'll be 3 damage, so 3 6-up feel no pains. Pass 1, take another 2. Tyranids will hit back 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. Actually hitting on 2s because you are wounded, so they'll all hit thanks to the Crush Stampede rule. Now Strength 8 is going to go into a Redemptor's T10, so you will need 5s to wound me. 1. No AP at all from this, so I've got a 2+ save. And I fail it. Take 2 damage. Would take 2, however, I only take 1 due to Duty Eternal. So I take a wound on the Redemptor back. And that will be the end of the Dark Angel's turn. That will be the end of the turn. So we go into Tyranids turn 2. So to start with, you gain a CP, I gain a CP. And then we are going to go into objective scoring, as there's nothing else to do. And so, while I did kill the Screamer Killer off that one, I don't actually take this one off the Tyranids, as he has OC5, the Dreadnought is only OC4, so you will score 5 points for primary on that one. So with that all done, we've got movement, and we'll come back after it's all done. Alright, so movement-wise, nothing too extreme over here. Your Psychophage is starting to come around the flank. Other than that, it was units coming in from Deep Strike. Your Trigon and the Flyron have both come in from Deep Strike. So we're going into shooting. Alright, so to start with, Trigon's going to use his Bioelectric Pulse into the Deathwing Knights. So you need 3s to hit, 6s be sustained hits 2. So that will be 1 miss, but 2 dice go back in thanks to sustained hits 2. And then you are strength 5 into T5, so 4s. Just the 3. And so 2 ups on the Deathwing Knights, all saved. So the Flyron is going to target my Chaplain here with his heavy venom cannon, D3 shots. You need at least 2 on this, got 2. You'll be a 2+ to hit. And you'll be a 2+ to wound with that strength 9. Just 1. So I do have a 4-up invuln due to my Rosarius. I fail, that means I'll take 3 wounds. Alright, so the Exocrine is going to shoot into my Dark Angels. I've used Armor of Contempt, so D6 plus 4 shots due to your blast. So that'll be 7. Hitting on 2s, thanks to your heavy weapon profile. They'll all hit. Strength 8, meaning you're wounding on 2s as well. So it'll be 7. Now these will be 4-up saves, thanks to cover. I only passed 2 of them. So I've got 4 of these to make, and we have Feel No Pain. So the first one, 4 ups, pass both, so that's 1 of them done. Next one, Feel No Pains, fail both, so there's a dead Marine. Third one, fail both, that is another dead Marine. And 4th one, pass 1, so that is a Marine on a wound. So you killed 2 Hell Blasters there, so I get to roll 2 dice on 3 ups. 1 of them. So I'm going to supercharge my weapon into your Flyron there, so both hit, and that'll be an extra hit from sustain thanks to Azrael. And so strength 9, wounding on 5, sorry, because I am strength 8, nothing. Alright, so you're going to charge the Flyron first. He needs a 9-inch charge. Who is he charging?
Chaplain.
Chaplain, yep, he's charging the lone Chaplain. 9-inch charge. That is not. Do you wish to spend a CP to re-roll that?
No.
Alright, not spending a CP is there. You've got your Trigon who needs a 9-inch charge. He does not. You're spending a CP to re-roll here.
Yes.
Alright, spending your only CP for a re-roll. That's a 10. He's in. Alright, so the Trigon is going to go next. It has 12 attacks, so it'll hit on 3s. And wounding on 3s. That'll be 6. AP -2, so 2, 3, 4-up saves. This will be my invuln anyway, so 4-up saves. Save 2, so it'll be 4 that go through. So 4 go through. Now normally the Trigon is damaged 3, however I am -1 damage, so it'll be 2 dead Deathwing Knights as you do 8 damage. Alright, so we are going to pile in. We've got the Flail of the Unforgiven to start us off with, hitting on 2s. We've sustained hits 1, so that means I'll have 6 attacks now. And we are strength 6, the 5s to wound because you're T10. Now, 6s be devastating, so that'll be 4 damage that you can't stop in any way. So 2 5-up saves, of which he passes both. And then the 2 Deathwing Knights with Maces of Absolution. They'll hit on 2s for everything to hit. No sustained on them, unfortunately. And then they will wound on 5s. So that'll be another 4, this time at -1. So you'll have 4 4-up saves to make. There'll be another 4 damage on him. Next we have the Tyrannifex fighting the Dreadnought, so 4 attacks. Will be 3 hits, because you will get the bonus to hit. Now you do need 5s to wound me.
Am I?
5s to wound. 1 2-up save on the Dreadnought. He fails it again. Another damage. The Dreadnought will be going with 5 attacks. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. It'll be 2. That's -3. So 5-up saves. Nope. And that will be 6 damage. So 6 Feel No Pains from the monster behind it. Takes 4 more. So end of the Tyranid turn. We're still in the combat's raging on. I've got some severely decimated models here. So we're going to go into Dark Angel's turn 3 next. Today's game is played on the fantastic battle mats from our longtime supporters, Mithras Games. Top quality battle mats from New Zealand that have a variety of different designs that can suit almost any battlefield you could imagine. Alrighty, so top of my turn. First of all, Stephen is going to declare his Shadow in the Warp, so I'm going to have to take Battle Shock tests on everyone. I do gain 2 CP, and he gains 1. So, we have a Battle Shock test to take on Azrael and his unit, which they fail. I am going to spend a CP immediately to auto-pass that.
I have to take it.
I've got my Chaplain. He is fine. And then I have my Dreadnought. He's fine. And my Deathwing Knights are fine. So we then go into Battle Shock phase proper. So I will have to take one on Azrael and his unit again. So let's hope 5. That's going to fail again. And I can't use a CP, so I've effectively wasted a CP on that unit. And, however, one of the cool things about Dark Angels here is that they always count as objective control 1, even when battle shocked. So I will still control the objective, I just can't use stratagems on them. And then, end of the command phase, I am going to score the 10 points for my Chaplain, and then they still count as OC1 over there as well. Alright, so movement-wise for the turn, I've just moved by 2 units down here. We're going Flyrant hunting. So, shooting-wise, we are going to have the Chaplain shoot his Absolver Bolt Pistol into the Flyrant, hitting on a 2, wounding on a 6. Unfortunately, it doesn't wound, so then I have my Hellblasters overcharging. They will be hitting on 3s. That is not the greatest roll in the world. Just 3 hits. Strength 8, so 5s. 1 wound on your Flyrant. So a 4-up invuln on your Flyrant. Nope, he takes 2 damage. Azrael will then shoot, so we are going to hit on 2s. All hit. We are strength 8, so this means 5s are needed to wound. Nothing. And 4 dudes in the unit did do that supercharge, and they are all fine. Now this will lead me to an assault phase. So we're going to charge with the Chaplain first. 8 will see him in. And then we'll charge with Azrael and his unit as well. With a 10, they're in. Alrighty, so these combats over here first. My charging units will get to strike first. So Azrael has 6 attacks with the Sword of Secrets. Hitting on 2s. 6s be sustained. No sustained, and he misses twice because he can fly. Strength 6 means I'll need 5s to wound. That'll be 2, and they are devastating wounds, so there'll be 4 wounds on your Flyrant. 4 Hellblasters then will go, so they'll be hitting on 3s with 6s being sustained. So, and then they will need 6s to wound though, because only strength 4, punching you with gun butts. For nothing. And then all up to the Chaplain, who has 5 attacks, hitting on 2s with his Crozius. Too bad he's not in Azrael's unit. So, because he's not leading a unit, I don't get my bonus +1 wound, so I'm 5s to wound. That is 2. These are at -1, so there'll be 3-up saves on your Flyrant. He'll take another 2 damage. Alright, so your Trigon is going to use Rampaging Monstrosities. A good use of it because you are my Oath of Moment target for this round. So I am getting +1 rerolls to hit. So you're making me -1 to hit now. However, I do have to take a Battle Shock test. And if I fail this and I'm Battle Shocked, I'll be -1 to wound you as well. So Battle Shock test, I pass. And then I'm going to use my own stratagem on them for Armor of Contempt as you've selected me for the target. Alrighty, so you're going to be getting +1 to hit and wound as well because you are below half your wounds on the Trigon. So he's going to hit on 2s. With his 12 attacks. Strength 9 actually does pay dividends with the bonus here because I am T5. So you're wounding on 2s instead of 3s, which is big. Yeah. And there's a couple extra. So armor contempt means I lessened your rend by 1. So I've got a 3-up save here. I failed 2, so it'll kill a Deathwing Knight. My Dreadnought will go next then. So hitting on 3s. Well, just 2. Wounding on 4s. Once. 1 armor save. That'll be a fail, because 2 you need a 5-up, so you've got 3 damage. 6-up, feel no pains. Plus none, takes another 3. Right, so the terrain effect is on his last 5 wounds, so this means he will be -1 to hit. However, thanks to Crusher Stampede, you get +1 to hit if you're not got your starting wounds, and you also get +1 to wounds, so you'll be hitting on your base 3-up, thanks to negative positive, and then you will be strength 8. These will be 5, so 4s to wound. 2. These are no AP, so 2-up saves. Finally passed saves on the Dreadnought. Right, Deathwing Knight, due to my Oath of Moment, I'm re-rolling to hit against the Trigon. So we are 3s to hit thanks to your -1 penalty. 2 hits with the Flail, which will become 4 because of the sustained hits. And then we are 5s to wounds, nothing. And then the Mace will hit twice with re-rolls, so we'll hit all. And then 5s. Got 2 at -1.
And you got 3.
So 2, these will be 4-up saves on the Trigon. He'll take 4 damage, and that'll take him down, I think. And so your Winged Hive Tyrant's going to put everything into the Chaplain. So you've got 5 attacks, hitting on 2s. All hits. And 2s to wound, thanks to the Crusher Stampede, +1 to wound. Will be 4. These will be 4-up invulns on the Chaplain. Ooh. You know what? I'm going to choose to re-roll that just to deny you the 5 points. Need a 4-up on my foot, and of course it's a 1. And so we're going to Tyranids turn 3, where they will score 5 points for controlling that objective there. Other than that, we are going to go into movement and come back after it's all done. So at the top of the Tyranid turn, we did gain our command points as well, but movement was pretty simple, just your Psychophage and Exocrine moving on to help control objectives. So we'll go into some shooting, because you've got some shooting to do in your combats. So the Winged Hive Tyrant is D3 shots to begin with, for 2. And we'll hit on 3s, however you are damaged, so it goes back to 2s. So 1 hit, and then wounding on a 2. Wound AP -2 into my Marines. So 3, 4, 5-up save, fail it. 2, 4-up, feel no pains, pass both. Sorry, it's damage 3. 1 more to make, and I make it. Alright, Trigon has 6 attacks. Now hit on 3s, go back to your base profile thanks to the ability of your faction.
So 3s?
Yep. 6s be sustained 2, but none of that, but you all hit. Strength 5 means you'll need 4s, but you are damaged beyond anything, so you wound on 3s. And so these are 2-up saves on the Deathwing Knights, and they pass them all with flying colours. Right, so only charge to declare is going to be the Psychophage going into the Dreadnought. We'll get in. So the Psychophage has D6 +1 attacks with your Talons and Tentacled Maw, so 4 attacks. You'll be on 2s to hit with the Psychophage, because you get +1 to hit because I'm below my starting strength. Slave will all hit. So 5s to wound then. Devastating's on 6s. No devastating.
A single wound.
And the Dreadnought saves it. And so I get to pick the next combat. I'm going to go with the Deathwing Knights into the Trigon. So we are hitting on 2s now, with no sustained hits on my Flail. Now needing 5s. 6s, that'll be 2 wounds, and that'll take him out. Alright, so your Tyrant is going to use Rampaging Monstrosity. I have to take a Battle Shock test here, which I pass. And so my unit actually is already Battle Shocked anyway, so I passed that one, but this does mean I'm going to be -1 to hit and wound against your Flyrant now. So your Tyrant Talons are then going to attack, 5 of them. You hit on 2s. And you wound on 2s. So 3. -2, so these will be 5-up saves. Pass 1, and then 4-up feel no pain. So the first one, that is the wound that kills the dude, and the next one passes both. Now we'll go with my Dreadnought. He's going to attack the Tyranids. So 3s to hit. That is better. All of them hit. 4s to wound. Just the 2. So 2 and -3, so 2 5-ups. So there'll be 6 damage you need to pass on your feel no pains. So 6-up feel no pains. Pass 1, take 5. That'll take the Tyranids down. Alright, so Azrael is going to attack your Flyrant. Now he is -1 to hit and wound. So it means I'm 3s to hit, but sustained on 6s. 4 of them. And that makes me... However, I am wounding on 6s, so I needed all those dice. I get 1 through, which will be devastating wounds, so just 2 damage to your Flyrant. And that devastating hit there from Azrael will be enough to take out the Winged Hive Tyrant. What this will be now is Dark Angel's turn 4. I'm going to score 5 points here, because I'm within 3, and I am OC4 on the Dreadnought. You're only OC3 with a Sarcophage. So, other than scoring 5 at the top, we just got Azrael's CP, so we've got 3 Hellblasters that have moved up along with the Deathwing Knights into Exocrine. The Hellblasters will shoot. They will need 3s to hit, 6s are sustained, but no sustain there. Re-rolling, because you are my Oath of Moment. So, get 5 hits. And we will be 5s to wound, which will be 2 at -3 on your Exocrine, so 2 5-up saves. We'll take 2 damage on the Exocrine. And then charges, Deathwing Knights will be charging. They're in. And so we are going to go into some fights. So you're going to do your CP to give your monster -1 to hit, potentially -1 to wound if I fail a battle shock test. I do not fail the battle shock test. We are Knights of Caliban. We are not scared of anything. However, I am -1 to hit, so 3s. Re-rolling because of Oath of Moment. Nope. And 5s. So 2 wounds just straight through because it's devastating. And then 1 save at -2.
So he's on 4.
1 save on a 4-up. Nope, he takes another 2. And on the other Deathwing Knights, hitting on 3s, re-rolling. What is that? Re-rolling. All hits, wounding on 5s. That is 3 at -1 this time, so 3 3-up saves. Take another 2 damage. Sarcophage then gets to attack the Redemptor, D6 +1 attacks for 5. With all of that, you will be 2s to hit now. And then you will be 5s to wound me. 6s are devastating. So it will be 2 damage straight through and 1 save to make. So save, fails, so it'll be 4 damage all up. 5 attacks back from the Dreadnought, hitting on 3s. We all hit. And wounding on 3s. That is 3 wounds, -3 on the Sarcophage. 3 6-up saves on the Sarcophage. Passed none of them. So it'll be 9 damage. So 9 6-up feel no pains. Passes none of them. He has a single wound remaining. You've got your Exocrine left to fight. 3 attacks with the Exocrine. You will be hitting on 2s. 2 hits. And you will...
He's got 8 wounds.
8. That is more than half your wounds. So you'll be wounding on 4s. You're wounding on 2s, sorry. What am I doing? Wounding on 2s. You've got 1, no AP, so a 2-up. No, failed it. Take 2 damage. So the Exocrine will score 5 points. However, I think we can call this here. Those Deafening Knights are probably going to take out the Exocrine. If not, Azrael and the Hellblaster certainly will. And the Redemptor has certainly got the Psychophage number. So with that said, it is going to be a victory to the Dark Angels at the bottom for Tyranid monsters. Put up a decent fight.